cares about whether we connect to our heart? What good is it going to do me? And there's so much craziness going on in my life, so much chaos. I got bigger fish to fry. Well, no, you don't. We need to start organizations, and we need to go and be against war or be against the Democrats or be against. No, it just feeds the problem. What we resist persists, right? We're going to be separating ourselves from the external influence in our lives. And truthfully, we're not going to have any choice because everything outside of it is so crazy. You can't find truth out there anymore. You've got to find truth within yourself. And you'll find that by doing these breathing exercises. Get yourself in a state of coherence. And then that will carry with you for hours of the day. It's going to have profound effects on your health, your wealth, and your well-being. Okay, so welcome back to yet another episode of Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, finding meaning and certainty in all the chaos and mayhem. And one of the questions I get asked a lot is, well, who cares about whether we connect to our heart? What good is it going to do me? And there's so much craziness going on in my life, so much chaos. I got bigger fish to fry. Well, no, you don't. You see, here's the reason why. You think about all this chaos, you're right, all this, the wars and the chaos in our own lives, right? The conflict that's going on everywhere. You know, probably there are people in your own family, your own circle of friends that you can't talk to about certain things without it being a point of contention or even conflict, right? So how do we resolve all this? Why is it all happening right now? We've talked about the frequency is increasing and pushing out all this energy, that the external world is a reflection of our inner world, both individually and collectively. And so if we understand that and we accept that, then we have to also accept that everything going on out there is a reflection of us individually and collectively, right? So we're creating all this. So then we can solve it, right? Yeah, and all we need to do is just go around to everybody and tell them to shut up and stop it. Yeah, no, it's not going to work, is it? So we need to start organizations, and we need to go and be against war or be against the Democrats or be against. No, it just feeds the problem. What we resist persists, right? And that's what the people in real power want us to do. It's like the king and queen standing on the balcony of their palace, looking over the balustrades at all the people fighting in the streets, at war with each other, in conflict, arguing. And the king and queen just look at each other satisfied. They turn around and walk back into the palace and return to the banquet that they and the other aristocrats, the wealthy, the billionaires are enjoying while the masses fight amongst themselves. It's a process, and we're going to get into that now because, look, it's all well and good to say, this sounds airy-fairy, living from the heart, but it's really much more powerful than that and much more important. You see, if we can connect to our heart and be in coherence more of the time, then we're going to be more peaceful internally. And we are a part of, not apart from, the unified field, which is connected to everything, everywhere, all at once. And as our energy we put into that unified field is coming from our heart, more peaceful, calmer, we will not want to get involved in conflict. We'll refrain from conflict. We won't have to be against it. We just won't participate in it. And if nobody participates, I think Greg Braden said in one of his videos, he said, one day there'll be a war and no one will show up. Perfect, right? And that's what we need to do, is to refrain from fighting against things and just be heartfelt, be in our heart. And then we won't want to do those things. We won't want to get drawn into conflict. We don't need to be right. We don't need other people to be wrong. And that's a whole different world, right? So this is important work. This isn't just, feel good for a minute and that'll help. It helps everybody. It affects everyone, everywhere, all at once. So this is important work, but I want to get into more details of that and get you to see that all these wars, all this conflict can end when we start to find inner peace within ourselves. Now, It's not like because if you find peace in yourself today that everybody else is suddenly going to feel it, but other people feel that energy without even realizing it consciously. It's a gradual process. The Buddhists have been teaching us this for centuries. It's time to listen, Linda. But the point is, the consciousness has shifted. We've reached a critical mass now where this grounding of this energy is now permeating everything everywhere all at once. And it's easier for us now, but we need to participate. We've got to play our part. And the truth is we want to. Most people want to, particularly younger people. They're much more heartfelt and in tune with their emotions and feelings, which is a gift and a curse at the same time, because we're seeing this cause lots of disruptions in the way people feel about themselves and their own identities. Because as the shift happens, we have the feminine and the masculine in us all. Yes, we do, right? Because truthfully, in our essence of who we really are, which is not a human being, not a physical being, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. In our spiritual essence of who we really are, we have no gender. We may have an agenda, but we have no gender. And so as we come into this experience, we have to put part of that on the back burner to have this experience. And we're in a state of forgetfulness. We have to forget portions and parts of who we are in order to have an experience. Because if we fully remembered that we are all enlightened beings, we couldn't have an experience. So we're all in different stages of forgetfulness, all right? And now, as this energy within inside of us, this frequency, this vibration is rising up, we're remembering more and more of who we really are, and it can get confusing, right? So we're beginning to shape the identity or identities that we've been given in the past. It's all part of the transition. And we need to be understanding and patient with each other, support each other. And we can do that much more effectively when we're living, speaking, and being from our heart, being heartfelt, right? So all these wars, all of these problems that we're having, this conflict is part of the transition. So it's important to remember that as we go through this process. Now, it's easy to forget. So we need each other to remind each other of who we really are in this process. And the more we get into coherence, the more we get heart-centered, the more we do our breathing techniques, the more we breathe a little bit slower, breathe in for 4 breaths, out for 6, or some kind of ratio. I think I said 6 and 8. 4 and 6, it needs to be a ratio that feels right for you, because we're all a little different. We're all a little different, right? We're a lot different, right? So find that rhythm for yourself. This is about you. You see, we're going to be separating ourselves from the external influence in our lives. And truthfully, we're not going to have any choice, because everything outside of it is so crazy. You can't find truth out there anymore. You've got to find truth within yourself. And you'll find that by doing these breathing exercises. Get yourself in a state of coherence, and then that will carry with you for hours of the day, and then reconnect. So the breathing in for 4, out for 6. Connect to your heart. Breathe in and out through your heart. And then putting yourself in a state of gratitude or compassion or kindness or appreciation, and really feeling that, being in that experience, seeing with your real eyes your feelings. And that way, you get into coherence. It's actually a natural process. And they've proven now scientifically, even if you just do that for 3 minutes a day, it's going to have profound effects on your health, your wealth, and your well-being. So, Saper Ord, dare to be wise. In the next episode, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what's really going on in our world, what's causing it, and how we can begin to heal it by being in our heart. I'll see you in the next episode.